Welcome everyone back to ESA Summer 21. We are raising money for Save the Children. Links to donate can be found below the stream. We would also like to thank Twitch and ViewSonic for sponsoring this event. Now it's time for groggydog to do some Chocobo racing. The floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lador. I am groggydog. I am so excited to be here as part of ESA Summer 2021. I regret I didn't get to watch that Final Fantasy 13 2 run. Final Fantasy 13 is the only mainline Final Fantasy game I have not yet gotten to play, so I didn't want to spoil it for myself. But we are here today to do another decidedly non-mainline Final Fantasy game. We are talking about Chocobo Racing, which was released in 1999 for the original PlayStation, same year as Final Fantasy VIII, and there is like a little Easter egg that we're not going to see today in that game. It has nothing to do with the minigame of the same name in Final Fantasy XIV, although I have also spent way too much time playing that game. But today we're going to be doing story mode, which means we are going to go from the very first track all the way to the last track, adding racers, new power-ups, and a lot of RNG along the way. The final stage or two of this course can swing 1 minute, plus or minus, really, independent of how I'm performing on the track. So fingers crossed, today will go okay. This is also a pretty pure RTA, not really going to be any skips, glitches. It's just going to be as fast as we can go. And so I think with that, let's go ahead and get started. Going to try and talk fast and race faster. So we're going to go in on go in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so we're going to choose to start the story from the beginning, and right now, and after every single track we do, we're going to tell the game, no, we don't want to read the story. Hopefully I will not miss any buttons on that for the rest of the game, otherwise we're going to lose some time. You'll also see I picked Chocobo and the dash ability. We will get more racers and change them later, but dash will keep. 2, and 1, and great. So you're also going to hear me counting down that boost. It is really tricky. It's right before that go buzzer sounds, and so you'll hear me count down because it is very, very easy to miss, especially when you are kind of gotten marathon nerves going. So if you look in the top left, you're going to see my dash bar fill up. Again, that's the ability I chose. Every 18 seconds, I'm going to get the choice to push a button and dash for about 3 or 4 seconds. We're going to keep that for the entire run. Obviously, we're going to get some pretty cool abilities that we could use, but in the context of a speed run, that's going to be our friend. You'll also notice, while I can drift in this game, I'm not actually going to drift as you might normally expect. Instead, as you watch as I round this corner with the dash, I am going to just tap on that brake. We're going to lose a little bit of speed, but not as much as we're going to drift, and we still get some pretty tight cornering. Now, please do keep a lookout for all the great Final Fantasy references in all of these levels. This is Sid's test track, which already gets our first reference. There's a few level checkers over here on the side as well. Not going to have enough time to point all of them out, but there are plenty around for you to look at, so I hope you get a chance to kind of scope out the tracks and hear the music. We're going to say no, yes, no after every course. Again, we don't want to save. We do want to continue the story, but we don't actually want to read it. Here in this second stage, Moogle Forest, we're going to continue with the Chocobo, the dash. We're going to get our first new friend. That's going to be Mage here on the loading screen. We're also going to get our first power-up. 3, and 2, and 1, and great, got the boost. We're going to come over this hill without being able to see. We're going to line ourselves up for that haste crystal. It's going to be really important. So again, we're going to add one of these every single stage, but for now we've just got one. It's haste. You'll see it's dangling out the back of my cart. I can stack this up to 3 times, so we're going to have 3 different power-ups either way. I'm going to use this in conjunction with my dash to get as much of a boost as possible. I am going to save it. I could throw it out right now. I wouldn't be able to gather any more haste crystals, but instead I'm going to try and line myself up over this hill. There we go. Grab one of those haste crystals, and then we're just going to go over the ground that would slow us down if we didn't have the boost, but dash and haste crystals will negate any negative speed effects, and that includes from some of the offensive magic we're going to have to deal with later, but especially from things like grass or ice, whatever we're going to hit later on. Final lap of this race, we're going, make a nice time. I'm going to try and line myself up. All right, missed it, but fortunately that is okay on this final lap because we are not going to get a chance to use all 3 crystals anyways. What I can just do is kind of use my dash ability to power through, and I'm going to get a chance to use one more haste crystal here, and we won't have really lost any time at all. Again, we're going to say no, yes, no as we head into the third stage, Ancient Gate. We're going to add a new friend, Golem, and we're going to add our first offensive magic in the Fireball. You can see, again, we can choose Mog now. We're going to use Chocobo for a couple more races, but we will have the ability switch starting now. 3, and 2, and 1, and all right, a little bit early on my trigger there. This is a very windy course comparatively, and you're going to see, all right, there's a haste crystal, but we also have those question marks. Pretty self-explanatory if you've ever played any kind of kart racer from this era, right? That gives us a 50% chance of getting either the haste crystal or the fireball. Getting really good luck, though, seeing a lot of these haste crystals, which means that unless Mog and Golem steal all of them, we should have a few. All right, there's our 3 stack. We are going to very carefully wind through here, and I'm going to take this next turn a little bit wide so I can try and line myself up with that haste crystal. Good, got it, fantastic. We want to try and get as many of those as possible, but obviously this is where the RNG starts to be a thing. We can't guarantee that every single time we're going to get all the haste crystals that we want. We might get fireballs, and that's going to lose us a little bit of time. In this stage, it's pretty small amounts of time if we miss crystals, but it still exists. Again, this is a very RNG-heavy game, and it only gets more and more RNG reliant as we go on. But we've had really great luck so far here in the Ancient Gate, as we have only gotten haste crystals. Going to hit that wall, that's okay. Keep going, keep going. Let's see if we can't get a second one. Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and burn that because we are so close to the finish that there's no point in waiting. We're going to, whoops, sorry, Mog. Bump Mog and hit him there. That's a good sign that we did a pretty good job on the lap. Now we're going to head into, unfortunately, the final race with our Chocobo friend, Mithril Mines. This is also where the game really starts to change. Our new racer friend is going to be Goblin. Goblin also has an 18-second ability, and it's called Mug, and it's going to be a real nightmare for us for pretty much the rest of the race. 3, and 2, and 1, and if you look up at the top of the screen, he's the guy in the red hat there. So I'm going to try and grab, great, got some luck, got a haste crystal. He's got the ice, that's the offensive magic that we get this time. Goblin's, like I said, ability every 18 seconds is Mug. He will steal whichever item is furthest back in my collection. So I'm going to try and either use the items before he's able to steal them. I do get a small, like a warning sound, and a little sprite comes up in the lower right-hand side of the screen. Or I'm just going to try and put another item behind whatever item I want to keep. So say if I found an ice crystal next, I could put it behind my haste crystal and just go ahead and use that. But I'm going to go ahead and burn that. That was actually a pretty severe amount of bad luck already. You can stack these ice and fire crystals. The more you stack, the more potent they are. The final level is going to be that homing shot like you just saw. So that means that one of these NPCs got very lucky, got 3 fireballs in a row. We're going to go into this last lap. Hope we can make up a little bit of that time with some haste crystals. Excellent, got 1 there. Again, I'm just, oh man, and we get a triple ice. Not great, but time that can easily be made up later in the course. The seconds always feel so much worse here early on. But like I said, you can make up so much time in the later levels that it's mostly just kind of a temporary bad feeling. Taking this shortcut one last time, gonna jam on that dash. Use our skids to come around the turn. And we've lost about 10 seconds thanks to those ice and fire charges. Again, not much we can do about them. But we're going to head into where we really start to see resets in this run, which is Black Mage Manor. We're going to say goodbye to Chocobo and say hi to Goblin for 1 race so that we don't have to deal with Goblin mugging us. I have this in my splits as Bowser's Castle. I think you will see why almost immediately. 3, and 2, and 1, and got the boost. Fantastic. All right. The new item that we get is Lightning, so we're rounding out that kind of traditional triad of offensive magic. And the new racer that we're up against is the Black Magician, aka the Black Mage. You can see him up at the top of the screen in that lineup. His ability is that he can increase the potency of the crystals that we get, and so it is going to cause us to see more of those kind of nasty homing shots of lightning, fire, and ice. That is kind of the worst case, and it's the main reason we're actually going to switch to Black Mage after this. We have decided that the lesser evil of those 2 things is Goblin's ability to steal from us. We'd rather kind of just play, a cat and mouse game with Goblin than to have to deal with the Black Mage hitting us over and over again with charged up spells. Those can be 5+ seconds of lost time depending on where they hit us and which spell hits us. Just like that, that's the lightning. Now that, I'm not sure who cast that because everyone got hit by something there. But presumably it was our friend the Black Mage. I would say on this level, if I am getting hit by anything more than like 2 of those kind of spells, I'm just going to reset because we've lost too much time. But 1 or fewer, it should be fine. Okay, cool. I was a little bit worried there. I was trying to deftly navigate around that ice. The good news about the Black Mage is that, well, the Black Mage does have terrible handling when we start using him next round. He does fly. He has a little cloud that he floats in, and so we're actually going to hover over most of those things and not have to worry about them too much. I was a little bit lucky. I got 2 of those fires. All right, so there's our second charge spell. You can see the Black Mage is the only one not spinning out there, so that hit a bunch of people, not just us. Alright, gonna get rid of that lightning. See if we can't get one more. No, there is one more lightning, and we're just gonna slam on this dash, try and salvage a few seconds here at the end of the race. But we see Golem there, so we know it couldn't have been too terribly bad, excuse me. Alright, as we move into Floating Gardens, like I said, we're gonna switch to the Black Mage, and as soon as I get through my boost here, I'm gonna hand it over to Lador for some donations. So we're gonna load up. And then as soon as I count down and fingers crossed get the boost of the door, it is all yours in 3 and 2 and 1 and go for it.
All right. Good job there. We got some donations coming in here. First of all, we have $20 from GBebs305 that says, for groggydog and for the children, with a heart. He sent
awesome,
our way.
thank you.
We also got $20 from Chaos Gasket that says, you can do it, Groggy. The whole Sag-on-Em crew is behind you. And he actually put that donation towards Trackmania 2, Canyons All Flags full-time speed incentive. That's actually coming up very soon in just 2 runs. And it's right now at $722, I believe, out of 1,000. So we need a bit more push there. So if you guys would love to see them go all in, full speed, no breaks during that run, get those donations in.
Awesome, thank you so much. And yeah, thank you to Zag-on-Em, my original Destiny 2 clan, now kind of branched out into Final Fantasy 14 and fighting games like Guilty Gear Strive we're on a lot lately. So I really appreciate it. It's great to hear from. All right, so in this stage, Floating Gardens, the new offensive magic is what you just saw me get hit by. It is sort of the classic Final Fantasy status effect mini. You saw those 3 little annoying cherubs spawn over me and make me very small. They are a real nuisance from here on out in this game, especially in the next stage where they could potentially cause us to miss a jump. They lower your speed for every level of potency you get hit with, but I can negate that with a dash or a haste. So when at all possible, I'm going to try and use those. But we're going to get a way to deal with those in the next race, if we're lucky. And that is going to be the end of Floating Gardens. And so despite getting hit by a few of those mini spells, we actually made up about 1.5 seconds on that. So not bad. All right, Gingerbread Land is up next. We are going to stay with our friend, the Black Magician. Again, we're keeping dash the whole way through. It's going to try and go as fast as possible. 3 and 2 and 1 and so we actually have, I got distracted as I was supposed to boost. I noticed that we do not have Goblin in this race. If you look up at the top of the screen, you'll see the lineup of racers in order. There can only ever be 6 racers on these courses. And since we have unlocked more than 6 racers, there is a chance that in the last 3 levels, Goblin actually won't be included. And so this is great news because this means that I know that I don't have to hoard my resources like I have to in the other stages. This is going to be particularly important because in this level I get a new spell called Reflect. Reflect does not stack in terms of potency. You can have 3 at one time. Let's see, there they are right there. There's that pink crystal that I've got behind me right now. If I have this spell hanging out behind me, then any offensive magic that gets sent my way is going to get bounced right back to its owner. I can either, there we go, you see the effect right there. So I can either keep it out behind me and just wait for someone to hit me, or if I have to deal with Goblin, if I see Goblin trying to steal from me, then I can always just use it, and it'll give me about 4 seconds of protection. This is a shortcut that I'm taking right here. It would be a lot more difficult if it weren't for the Black Mage, ignoring some of the bad terrain effects because of the floating cloud. But again, for marathon strats, I'm going to prioritize the Reflect over the haste, just because I would rather be safe than be fast. And again, this jump right here is particularly dangerous because if I get hit by a double mini or worse, then I may not make it over that jump, and it can either send me halfway back to the course, or I just have to sit there and wait it out at the bottom of the hill and then get enough speed to jump back up with a dash or something like that. No fun. So we want to try and avoid it when all possible. But we've gotten a lot of good luck. Haven't really seen any haste outside of that very first crystal that we got. But we're doing pretty okay with 2 reflects right now. Again, going to take this shortcut. If we needed to, there is, oh, hello, 3 reflects. There's that line of crystals right off the side. We can, if we need to, jump off of there and kind of sideswipe all those crystals and see what goodies we can get. But again, thankfully, we've had some pretty good luck with these reflect crystals so far. That is definitely the thing that you want in this run. Alright, gonna go ahead and burn that lightning. We don't need it. This particular corner is actually pretty tricky. I'm going to try, when at all possible, to never dash or haste crystal there because it will send you flying. Black Mage has a lot of trouble with any bumps or corners. All right. No, yes, no. Again, we're saying no, we don't want to save. Yes, we do want to continue the story. No, we don't want to read it. As we head into the final stage for Black Magician, I think a really infamous stage for people who used to play Chocobo racing back in the day. This is Volcano Valley. It is particularly dangerous because it has some of those bumps that Black Mage can fly over. It has a horrible canyon that sends you flying if you're off, and there are a lot of spaces without any guardrails like you see now. 2, and 1, and great. Boost. Look at the lineup. We do have Goblin, our friend, back. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and burn that haste crystal. You're going to see me actually save my dash here. We're coming up on a pretty gross canyon section that has some really steep cliffs that you can sort of go up over. Right here. So you're going to see me hold on to the dash, and I'm going to be jamming on the brake button so that I can make it through here without going up those little hills. Because if I do, I go flying. Black Mage has such terrible handling that it can lose you, you know, upwards of 5 seconds or more. I'm also going to take that turn a little bit wide because there are some small ramp corners there in the turn. And I'm going to hug the right side of that straightaway because of those boulders. You can still get hit even if you're hugging the right-hand side, but it's way less common. All right, so we're going to get hit by 2 things from our friends. We're going to get hit by a mini and the new spell for this area, which is Death. Death is that skull you see above me. Another pretty classic Final Fantasy status effect. It's going to count down from 10 to send us up. It is actually not that bad to get hit by. Despite the very scary sounding name, it's a pretty quick animation. Alright, and woo, a little bit close on that one. Tightly wind our way through this canyon. Hope that we can get something good from here. This is tricky. I'm probably going to let the goblin steal this because I would rather not go flying in this canyon. But we... Okay, so we use their reflect. Got the haste off, and we have another reflect that will defend us for the next 18 seconds or so until Goblin tries to steal again, and we're going to go ahead and use it on that mini. Fantastic. Also taking that turn wide, that last turn, because again, it is pretty nasty. If you take it too tight, you will hit a lip and go flying off into that lava.
Do you mind if I chime in with a quick donation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, we got $10 from Incredible Bugboy that says, "Sag on them, Groggy! Let's get that Gwibby!"
Excellent, yes, let's. Alright, gonna get hit by a death first though, unfortunately. Gotta get mentally in the space for my diamond weapon grind tonight. I am going to do something a little silly and boost right there. But I was gonna hope, alright, I was gonna see if I couldn't get a dash or something that I could use for this backstretch. I'm gonna wait patiently for Goblin to try and steal from me. No, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it and just go ahead and burn it. So I have a little bit of protection here in the home straight. That was a pretty good volcano, all things considered. Didn't hit any really bad corners and didn't go into the lava. All right, and we are here in the final stage. It's going to be the longest one, and it's going to be the most challenging by far. This is Fantasia. We're going to say goodbye to Black Mage and say hello to our first friend, Mog. Mog has really good handling. There's room for debate on like who's the best character to use through these last 2 levels. I like using Black Mage and then Mog just for the handling. 3, and 2, and 1, and up. Awesome. So a couple things are going to happen immediately. First, we notice that Goblin, once again, not in the race. That is extremely good luck. So feeling very thankful for that in the marathon. But I have a huge skip coming up. It is not officially a skip. It is a shortcut. I'm going to save my dash for it. Let's see if I can't hit it once or twice while I'm doing this. Perfect. There we go. So there are a couple outcomes for that. I can either miss entirely and have to go the long way. I can miss and hello. I can miss but still be placed back on that shortcut if I miss, or I can just make it and then dash. Obviously, that's the benefit. The other thing, our new friend of the stage is Bahamut. He gets Mega Flare every 47 seconds. Mega Flare is going to hit every single runner, and it is a very long animation. Oh, and what you just saw there was actually Ultima, the spell we got on this stage. So that was Mega Flare. Unfortunately, I got hit by that Ultima in a really bad spot, and so I didn't have enough time to do what I would normally want to do. But normally what I'm trying to do for the next 2 of those that I should theoretically see before I finish this race is that I'm going to try and just like hurl myself into the void. I would rather throw myself off of the track and deal with that animation than deal with the Mega Flare animation. So we'll see if I can't do that in the next 2 instances. The next one is 135, but first let's try the shortcut. We did make it, but unfortunately the Ultima stalled us out and we didn't get a chance to actually right ourselves in the track and fell off. But still about a 5-second time save over missing it entirely or not attempting it. And again, here's that RNG piece. There is nothing that I am essentially doing that is causing all these attacks to rain down on me. I'm also going to fall off right now. I believe we missed it. Yeah, we missed it. Fantastic. So I did get to dodge a Mega Flare there, just barely. But yeah, there is, outside of those Mega Flares, which I know are going to come every 47 seconds, I can't really do anything about all those other attacks. Now, I did finally just get a chance to pick up a Reflect, but as we go here into the last lap, ooh, another Reflect, very nice. Again, don't have to worry about goblins stealing from me this time. So let's see if we can't go 3 for 3 on that shortcut. That would be a pretty good emotional win if I'm not going to get the good RNG for a marathon run. All right, here we go into this corner. Oh, hey-oh, good. All right, 3 for 3. I can't complain too much. At least I did what I could to mitigate the RNG for this level. 223 is the next spot. We're just going to have to take it. We're going to be here in this tunnel. So I only got to show off that strat once. It's not really a strat. It's mostly just kind of a weird thing where you run your car off of the road intentionally. Gonna very carefully dash. Hey, all right, so we took a lip. Again, much worse with the Black Mage than it is with any other racer. And we're gonna cross this finish line, and that's time. Whew. All right, so some rough RNG. We lost about 30 seconds there on that last race, mostly just because of, you know, other enemies' attacks and being in bad positions with the Mega Flare. But anything sub 20 honestly feels pretty good for a marathon, and I'm happy with the rest of the race. So that was Chocobo Racing Story Mode. I think this is a very fun game if you were looking for a classic kart racer to give a shot. So thank you all so much. It is such an honor to be here with ESA, with some really esteemed speedrunners who I really enjoy watching as well. And to be, you know, doing this on behalf of Save the Children, I am just so ecstatic that I got this chance. So thank you to all the tech folks, but definitely to Lador, Mariter, and to Loki, who was doing tech setup. Y'all are awesome. I hope you stick around for the Trackmania and the Trackmania 2 runs right after this if you want to see real fast racing without the Final Fantasy fluff on top. But if you are a Final Fantasy fan, I hope that you enjoyed this. You can catch me grinding out Diamond Weapon tonight. So thank you all so much.
All right, thank you, Groggy, for the amazing Chocobo Racing run. I still need to do Diamond. Thank you for reminding me. But as I said, next up, we do have the 2 Trackmania runs. But first of all, we do have Trackmania with Rasta coming up, so stay tuned.